How much money do you think is needed for happiness, friends? Don't you know? And where do you see your happiness? What are you going to buy with the money that you may have in the amount you need? After all, no matter what we say about the generally accepted system of values, which mainly comes down to family and material well-being, with which a person can afford to live, so to speak, a standard life, we all have different ideas about happiness. In some ways our views on this issue, of course, coincide, but in some ways they differ. But the most important thing is that most people, regardless of their financial situation, are dissatisfied or, better to say, not fully satisfied with their lives. That minimum of needs, having satisfied which, we should be satisfied with our lives, does not make us happy, although many of us have that very minimum. So maybe there is no happiness in its pure form, maybe we all want exactly what we simply do not have, and will never have? And if we want what you and I do not have, then we cannot know how much money we need to get everything that can be got. Isn't that logical? Money can certainly make a person happy, but it can also bring him a lot of troubles if he is simply not mature enough for it. So when asking yourself how much money is needed to be happy, do not forget to also ask yourself another question: how much money do you not need to have in order not to have problems that are unsolvable for you? You understand that money can change you and your life, not only for the better, but also for the worse? Each of us, to the extent of our development, manages money in a special, so to speak, individual way. For example, if you give a child a lot of money, then most likely he will spend it on all sorts of nonsense, among which there will be a lot of ice cream, sweets, and other poison. And this is not counting the fact that the child is not smart enough to at least somewhat effectively resist the manipulations of adults who can addict him to alcohol and drugs. You know yourself, today the fight for our health and for the health of our children is only imitated, while in reality, money is squeezed out of us in every possible way, including at the expense of our health. Well, what do you think? Will an unreasonable child, and reasonable children are rare, become happier from a large amount of money, or will it create big problems for him? Most likely, he will simply gorge himself on ice cream and sweets and fill his stomach with some other nasty stuff, from which he will then be pumped out in the hospital. That's the kind of happiness he will come to. However, during the consumption of all this nonsense in large quantities, he will undoubtedly be happy. But you and I understand that happiness does not end with all these children's joys, while a child is not able to understand this, due to his underdevelopment. And how in this case, one wonders, can a child make himself happy with the help of money, if he knows little about this life, and most importantly, why does he need money if he has no idea what to do with it? This is the problem with the money we need to be happy, we just don't know what we should buy with that money. And if you look at most adults, they are not much different from children, except perhaps for their ability to lie more skillfully. They also, for the most part, do not know how to manage money, which they stupidly spend on everything that the TV advises them to buy. And where is this happiness? What does it consist of in money, or in what can be bought for this money? Or maybe happiness lies in our mental development, thanks to which we are able to understand what and for what purposes we need and how to earn money for this. But let's not rush to answer all these questions. It is better to think carefully about all our desires and the money needed to implement them. To understand how much money you need to understand why exactly you need it. Having understood what exactly we want and why we want it, we can easily figure out how much money we need to get this something. It is very stupid to advise people, as is done in some books, for example Bodo Schaefer wrote about it, to imagine a specific amount of money that they want to earn. Such concretization of one's desire supposedly allows a person to set a precise goal, due to the precision of which, the path to it is significantly simplified. I categorically disagree with this. Well, what the hell can a specific amount, precise figure, be in a person's imagination, and even in the form of a goal, if money itself is not a goal and does not come to people on its own, but is the result of some specific activity that allows them, people, to earn this money? It is precisely this activity that is the real goal. Did Bodo Schaefer himself acquire this money from his ideas about the amount of money he needed, or did he actually do something specific for this purpose, for example, learn to sell some goods, his books, and then his knowledge through seminars? There is no specific amount of money that a person may need and which he may want to receive, earn. There is simply money, no matter in what quantity, for certain purposes, which can be earned in one way or another. And even more so, there is no such amount of money that can make us completely happy. For a certain period of time, yes, we can be happy with this or that amount of money, but if we are talking about complete and absolute happiness, then it cannot be bought for any amount of money. Give you 1,000,000, you will want 2, give 2, you will want 3, and so on ad infinitum. So why the hell, one wonders, give you 1,000,000, knowing in advance about your dissatisfaction with it, so that you will start rinsing your brain with your boundless desires? To hell with your desires, sit at a broken trough, and from this everyone will only be calmer, both you and the one who can fulfill your desires. But, your boundless desires are a natural manifestation of human nature. Without these very desires, you and I would turn into scum. So it's okay if you want more than what you already have, that's okay. But you also need to understand something else. You need to be able to appreciate this very something that you already have. You have some money now, don't you? You've already earned this money, it's already yours, it already gives you some happiness. Do you feel this happiness? It is there, and it belongs to you. Remember, there will always be someone who has more of something than you, or who has something better than you, or someone who is better than you, and therefore you will always have a reason to envy someone. And if we talk about money, which is always in short supply, then you will always be dissatisfied with something, even if you have all the money in the world. And don't say that you don't need much, that you are content with everything you have and don't dream of anything more. The same Pushkin, when he wrote his fairy tale about the fisherman and the fish, understood the nature of man very well, and he clearly showed using the example of the greedy old woman that man is never satisfied, he always wants more. Therefore, you should not think that you are smarter than everyone else and that you know the measure in everything. You can observe the measure, being a sensible person, but it is impossible not to want more. It is only possible to pretend, deceiving yourself and others, that you do not need anything in this life. The question is not whether you need something or not, the question is what exactly you need. To want everything, my friends, means to want nothing, so do not bother your brains with your boundless desires. It is better to pay attention to the goals that you have in mind in the short term and which objectively need you to achieve them. Your happiness cannot be long-lasting, because you will never have enough of anything, therefore, the amount of money that you need for this very happiness should allow you to solve your most urgent tasks. What do you need money for? Be specific in your question. What do you need in the very near future? Perhaps you are interested in how much money is needed to build a house or buy a car. Or maybe you want to start your own business and you need money for the business? Or your question can be put this way: how much money do you need for a vacation? Or this way: how much money do you need for a wedding? What exactly do you need at the moment? What and in what quantity do you need money at the moment? Yes, you understand that this is your happiness, the satisfaction of your most pressing needs in the present. What is the point of looking too far ahead, if having received something, no matter what, you will still remain unsatisfied? Maybe you should start noticing what is already under your nose, and what requires your attention. You can get something right now and become a little happier for a while, or you can achieve something for years, and still, having received what you wanted in years, you will be satisfied with it only for a while, after which happiness will run away from you again. Happiness is not friends with time, it is always somewhere out there, far away. Having achieved any of your goals, having earned any amount of money, after a while you will again become obsessed with some goal, some new desire, and again you will begin to chase your happiness, wasting your years on it, and therefore your life. Without love for what you already have in your life, you will never be happy, believe me, from someone who has more or less solved the money problem in his life. Theoretically, you can be happy without money, but you have to be a little crazy for that, or as our gym teacher used to say, a shaken dusty sack. So I don't advise you to forget about money in any case. Money is needed, at least for the bare necessities, without which we cannot live, which means that even for the most modest happiness you still need to have some of it. However, when people say that they don't need a specific amount of money, they don't give an exact figure, but just enough money to always have enough, then in fact, it sounds even more stupid. Enough, for what? For the bare necessities? And what is the bare necessities for you? A piece of bread on the table, or all these smartphones, iPhones, clothes, and a car filled with gas? Don't talk nonsense talking about enough money, because there is no such thing in nature, enough money that is always enough for everything. You will never have enough money, remember that. A friend of mine was happy for about a year when he finally created his own business and started making decent money on it, or rather, receiving income from it. But a year later he was already thinking about how to sell this business to someone, and now he got it. A person's opinion about what he needs changes after he gets what he wants. And what can we even know about happiness, with our understanding of this world? What and with what can we compare in order to know exactly what we want? We talk about happiness based on our ideas about this world and our lives, and they are all different for us. Some people know more about this world, others less. Some people have one life, others another. Remember how in the movie Republic of Shkid, a guy nicknamed Mommy said that he dreams of getting drunk to the point of death, and this is his dream? Now, if he were well fed, if he knew more about life, he would clearly dream of something more substantial. We all dream of getting completely stuffed when we dream of a new car, of our own house, of such an abstract concept as financial independence and similar things. All these are our modest dreams limited by our ideas about this world and life, for which I suspect you need money, which of course you do not have. Thinking about how much money a person needs, we think first of all about ourselves, so there is no need to generalize this question. The greediest people cannot even say exactly how much money they need and for what. They usually say very vaguely that they need a lot of money, so that, as I said above, it would be enough for everything. More modest people, and at the same time smarter, specify their short-term desires and long-term goals, which they set based on their real capabilities. And so, no, they don't name the exact amounts of money they need, because that's stupid. They just talk about what exactly they need to buy or what exactly they need to achieve in the near future, and they work on it. Let's say you want to improve your living conditions, or you want to move out of your parents' house to live separately, then you need an apartment, or better yet, a house, for which, of course, you need money. So, you need to get this money somewhere, somehow, and this money, when you get it, will definitely make you a happier person, for a while. Then, of course, you'll want something else, but for now, it's housing that worries you more than anything else, which means you need to earn money for an apartment or a house, and all your happiness lies in achieving this goal. Each of us has our own needs, each of us wants something, based on the situation in which each of us finds ourselves. In this world, there are a lot of people for whom the most minimal needs are a luxury, and they think about how much money they need to live and not die of hunger. Yes, in some places, people are brought to such a terrible situation, such as our life. So while some of you dream of a new car, someone does not know how to make ends meet, and happiness, meanwhile, like the truth, is always somewhere nearby. So I repeat once again, firstly, appreciate what you have, and secondly, strive to satisfy your most basic needs, in order to be happy in the present, and not in a very distant, unrealistic future. In the future, there is a lot of things that we will never be able to get. Why? Because all this is in the future, that's why. That's why it is the future, so as not to be the present, in which we already have something, but we do not see it. Isn't that right? Pay attention to what you have right here and now. No, well, pay attention to it, calm your mind and look at the things and people that surround you at the moment. Isn't all of this worth it to be at least a little happy, right here and now? Think about it, don't rush to decide what you supposedly need, figure out for now what you already have. I remember when I set both short-term and long-term goals for myself, I proceeded not only from the life that I actually lived, but also from those figurative ideas about another life that I possessed thanks to my active self-education. I read books, watched educational programs, whenever possible tried to communicate with people smarter than me, and in this way I expanded my horizons in order to know exactly what I wanted, or rather, what I could want. Accordingly, I needed money precisely for those goals that I set for myself, taking into account the breadth of my views on life. Here, you understand, it is necessary to maintain a balance between what you want and what you really need. And when this balance is absent, a person either slides into primitivism, when he ate, drank, smoked, climbed on a woman and fell asleep, and all the joys ended there, or he turns into a fanatic and his whole life resembles a pursuit of something big and incomprehensible, which he will never have. Yes, it is very subtle, and where it is thin, it breaks. That is why many people are ready to put a bullet in their forehead or are ready to jump off a bridge, because of the loss of a certain amount of money that they lost due to the crisis and other financial cataclysms. Why the hell would you want to take yourself and your life to such extreme measures? Is money really worth losing your life for? It's all stupid, you must admit, but people reach such a point in their lives when they themselves do not understand what their happiness is. Life itself is already happiness, objective happiness, common to all. Life must be valued, loved, respected, and we must be grateful to all those forces that gave it to us. The happiest people, as far as I remember the statistics, live in Costa Rica. These are the same guys who absolutely deservedly reached the quarterfinals of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. And this country is by no means rich, not even rich at all, but the people who live there, judging by the polls, are very happy. However, as has already been said above, only not very smart people can always be happy with everything. And although I do not consider Costa Ricans to be narrow-minded people, I think they have no more idea of happiness than you and I. They also want something that they do not have. For example, they definitely wanted to win the World Cup, but did not. But they wanted to. But that is not the point. The point is that, having money, you can be just as unhappy as without it. This does not mean at all that you should not actively strive for it. For money, of course you should. Why should you not strive for it? How are you worse than others? I just want you not to worry about this money, believing that only in it is happiness, and in nothing else. You earn this money, where will it go if you do not have it? You will earn money if you know how to do it, and to find out about this, read my articles. In them I write about what I myself have studied for years and applied in practice, as a result of which I was able to earn money for a small, but quite satisfactory happiness for me. And forget about this question, how much money is needed for happiness, because it is fundamentally posed incorrectly. You can't buy happiness for money, because happiness originates within us, when we are either satisfied or dissatisfied, primarily with ourselves. Set, as I recommend, short-term and long-term goals for yourself and decide how much money you will need to achieve them. This will be the amount that will make you a happier person for a certain period of time.